I've got a feeling you're fooling. I've got a notion it's make-believe. I think you're laughing right up your sleeve, fooling with me. Life is worth living while you are giving moments of paradise. You're such a standout, but oh how you hand out that hocus pocus from your eyes. I've got a feeling you're fooling. I've got a feeling it's all a frame. It's just the well-known old army game, fooling.
Hello and welcome to Ahoy Vintage Cruises special live interview with our esteemed guests, Alex Mendham, interviewed by Rusty Frank. My name is Mandy and I help Tom as the marketing director for Ahoy Vintage Cruises. Before we dive right into the interview, I'd like to remind everyone we have the sale on this weekend for Memorial Day, and that is on for just a couple more days. Actually, I think it ends tomorrow. So if you haven't booked yet for either the Alex Mendham crossing or the Glenn Miller Orchestra crossing, be sure to reach out to Tom this weekend. So you can do that by visiting ahoyvintagecruises.com, and there's a contact or a booking form. And I definitely recommend reaching out as soon as possible so you get that little bit of extra savings. And actually, we are already more than 70% sold out on the Alex Mendham crossing. So yet another reason not to wait. Now, one more thing before I pass things over to Rusty. I am very excited to announce that we have arranged a special brand partnership with one of my personal, very favorite vintage reproduction brands, and that is Vivian of Holloway. There is a special discount of 10% when you use code Ahoy Vintage. And I'm especially excited to tell you that there is going to be a giveaway in about 1 hour. We're going to post this giveaway on Instagram, and you can win a dress either for yourself or for a friend or partner or spouse. One lucky winner is going to win a dress. As long as it's in stock, you get any dress of your choice. So you can wait an hour or so until this interview is done and then head on over to Instagram to enter this exciting giveaway. And now, without any further ado, I am very happy to welcome our guest interviewer, Miss Rusty Frank. And Rusty is a tap dancer and Lindy hopper, producer, choreographer, dance preservationist, and writer. She is the author of the critically acclaimed book, Tap, The Greatest Tap Dance Stars and Their Stories from 1900 to 1955. And after interviewing all of these wonderful, famous tap dancers, and since Rusty will also be a passenger on the Alex Mendham crossing, I thought she would be the perfect person to interview Alex. So welcome, Rusty.
Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you.
All right. See you. Hi, everybody. This is going to be fun. So first of all, I have the proud pleasure to introduce to you Alex Mendham. So I'm going to read this. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Rusty.
Are you ready to hear all these beautiful things about yourself that I'm going to read?
Yeah, take it away.
Oh, gosh. Essex-born musician, singer, lyricist, and conductor, Alex Mendham is the debonair, white tie and tails wearing bandleader of Alex Mendham and his orchestra. Together, they sweep audiences away with the high style and music glory of the 1920s and 1930s. The orchestra has turned the music of Golden Age into a worldwide concert touring show, soon to include the high seas with the transatlantic crossing on the exquisite ocean liner Queen Mary 2 with Ahoy Vintage Cruises. How's that?
Yeah, I think I did a good job on that write-up myself.
Alex, I'm so excited. We're going to be on a crossing, and we want to say to everybody, it's a crossing on an ocean liner, not a cruise ship cruising.
No, that's a big difference. And I know that the Queen Mary 2 is the last remaining ocean liner. So I mean, I've never been on an ocean liner. I've been on some ferries from Calais and Dover, but that's not the same thing at all.
Yeah, I think it's a little different. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. And, we've had such a build up, it's been years in the making now.
Some little thing got in the way, but it's going to be, we just want to make sure everybody knows right away so they can go April 24th through May 1st, 2022. And
Yes.
when Alex and I we're gonna see each other, and we're gonna play day and night. Oh, first of all, I think somebody wanted to say hi.
Ah,
I'm so excited. Can you tell? Look at that. Just
such
enthusiasm.
an expressive face.
Yes, he says, I want to go too. Don't they let cats? Okay.
I think they do have some kind of program for cats and dogs. Don't quote me on that. Tom's the man to ask, but I think a guest, a friend of ours, is bringing a dog.
So you can start practicing the Astaire Rogers walking the dog from Shall We Dance?
Yeah. They do have kennels. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So let's start, Alex, just by talking about you and your music and all of that for people who don't know you yet. So how did you first get intrigued by the music and style and dance of the 20s and 30s?
Well, there were lots of different influences around when I was younger. So first there was I was exposed at an early age to the music from the Disney films, like The Jungle Book, and of course that's Louis Prima playing the trumpet and singing, and that was also Bill Harris was in the cast of that film, and so there was great talent there, but I didn't really know why I liked that music or what it was that I enjoyed. But I eventually wanted to play the saxophone when I was about 10. And so I was playing the sax. I really didn't key into a lot of music that was around at that time for people my age. So I began listening to other things, and I went into a local music shop, and the first thing I picked up was a CD by Bix Beiderbecke.
Oh, yes.
And it was the opening bars of some great Adrian Molini on bass sax and the whole band, and I just thought, this is it. This is the music that I want to play. And it was linked to the music of Louis Prima and the stuff that I heard and I enjoyed as a kid.
Yeah.
So there was all that kind of energy, and I thought, yeah, I got to try and do this. So the rest is history, really. I began digging into music from the 20s and 30s, discovered, black and white films from Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, and, the music from Laurel and Hardy films, the background music of that. And there was just so much creativity at that time, and songwriters were at their peak. There was a lot of American influences at that time on British music. So Americans would come and play at some of the big hotel establishments in London. So there was just this great cross-pollination of ideas. And I just said, yeah, that's my music. And I want to get together a young group of guys that can do justice to this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's it, really.
Interesting, Alex, is there's probably many of the viewers who are with us right now. They probably had a similar entree into this era through cartoons. I know our friend Peter Minton he and I talk about that, how the cartoons was the gateway drug to this.
Yeah.
Old music.
You got the hard stuff. Yeah.
And then you got into the Astaire Rogers, and then it just keeps going and going until we're all hooked. And so that's great. I kind of want to jump back and forth between your story and then the crossing, because one of the things I'm so excited about is with your orchestra, we're going to be having, is it 7 dances or 6 dances in the evening? 6.
Mandy says at least 5. So
at least 5. So 5 nights of dancing.
5 evenings, and then there'll probably be quite a few different, smaller sub events going on.
Yes. And for me, that's like a dream, because basically I get to hear you live maybe once a year or once every 2 years live. And to be able to have that many chances to hear and dance to your orchestra, and according to all the publicity of the Queen Mary too, it's the largest ballroom at sea.
Correct. Yes, by a long shot.
So it's not one of those little postage.
Not something they wheel out and clip together. No, it's always there.
Oh,
1,200 square feet. So you'll be able to do foxtrot and Balboa to your heart's content.
Oh my gosh, that's so lovely, so lovely. And I'm excited because one of the things you and I share this, that we both love the music, the dance, and the clothes. And So what's fun for me, like today I'm wearing, this is an authentic reproduction of a beautiful wool jacket I had that fell apart. So
It's
I brought
wonderful.
it, and I had it made from, I'm going to confess to everybody. Are you ready? It's made from tablecloth material.
Oh,
It was
but
the
I
only
love.
cream that we could find. So, and then this is a vintage hat. And then underneath, I wanted to share just because it's so fun. This little sweater is actually Eleanor Powell's,
Wow.
the famous.
Yeah.
So mix and match. It's going to be so fun. I know. Yes, you're
And
all wondering, how did I get Eleanor Powell's?
you've told everyone now, Rusty, they're going to be ripping it off. What's the what's the brooch? Is it a fox?
Oh yeah, it's a fox. Now this is Leah Stein. She is a Parisian artist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah,
Beautiful.
my friend Lori Gordon. You know Lori Gordon. Lori Gordon. She was the one that introduced me to Leah Stein, and she says, "Be prepared when you wear the brooch. You've got to be in a really personable mood because everybody's going to ask you about it." So, see? And you just.
Is it made from what, Bakelite or lucite?
It's kind of a post Bakelite era item, but it's similar to that. Yeah. So just for the people who want to come along with us, who love to dress, that's reason enough. Or those who love to dance, that's reason enough. And just to be together with like-minded people is going to be so fun. And I think, that we already have over 200 people coming along, and that's 200 people in our group of vintage dressers and dancers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know of another event that I've been to that's going to be like this. I mean, there's some wonderful events that happen in California, and you used to have Long Beach with the Queen Mary, the original Queen Mary, and then you've got Cicada Club. In the UK, there's a few things that go on, but there's nothing like this where it's so concentrated, where with people that love the music and love the period, and really want to live it. And the orchestra is like-minded as well, so they don't just get booked to come and play this music and read the charts or read the arrangements. They live it. So they, when they're not working with me, they're listening to this music, they're living it. And I think that adds an added edge to the orchestra that some big bands just don't get. You need to really feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, we have Tom right with us right now, and he just said living the period with a suspension of time.
Perfect description. Yeah, and I know Tom is the same. He's a great guy, and he loves this style. And so I think that when we came together and decided to put this together, it was a no-brainer, really, because we both want the same thing to happen. We both saw this in our minds, and it's so lovely that the guests have stayed with us every consequential reshuffle, because it's going to be great.
Yeah, we're so excited. I keep talking about the crossing because I'm so excited about it, and it's so fun to have it to look forward to. Just this idea of getting to kind of, as I always say, I don't live in the past, I play in it.
Yeah.
Vintage style, vintage. And so the idea that we get to all play together for 7 days and nights is just incredible. And I've always dreamed too, I don't know about you, Alex, when I've read all these autobiographies like of Fred Astaire, where they talk about the crossing. That's how they all did it. The crossing. They didn't get in a jet plane and fly over in 5 hours.
No,
7 days.
Scheduled that, and that was part of their vacation.
So, yeah.
Have you ever been on board a cruise ship or an ocean liner?
I've done a lot of cruises, but not an ocean liner. And a lot of people ask me, like, what, you're just going to be out at sea, they're not doing anything. I said, not doing anything. What are you crazy? Like, I'm just going to be posing. I'm practicing my poses now.
Oh, you've got it down.
No, and dancing, and it's just going to be so. And for me, actually, I love that. Whenever I have done a cruise, I always like the part where you're at sea because it's so relaxing. You get immersed in that, and you can't think about the world's troubles.
Yeah, just a clear horizon.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you were saying about the band that you collect young musicians and singers who also love the era.
Yes. So it wasn't nothing that is worth doing is ever easy, and putting together this orchestra was definitely not that. So I started originally with a bunch of older musicians, and because they were the only guys that I could find at the time who were interested in the music. And I kind of got this, here's a young upstart. We don't need to listen to you. We've been doing this for years.
Ugh.
And that, I needed a fresh bunch of guys who were going to come to this like a clean slate and say, okay, let's go back to basics and listen to this stuff and work out how it's done. And so I held auditions at a burlesque club in London,
Yeah.
and this was on a Monday when the club was closed. And I said to them, I've got a band, and can we play 2 nights a week? And this was before I even had a band. And so we were going live the following week, and I had about 60 guys answer the call, and I had to whittle those down. This combination, try that combination, and eventually we got an 11-piece band that was ready to go the following week. And the people that ran the club, they said, "Oh, that rehearsal sounded a bit funky. Do you know everybody?" And I said, "Yeah, we know each other, but we didn't know each other from Adam. But then we've become great friends, and people have come and gone and done other things. But we've got a great strong team now, and we've been locked away for 2 years. We're ready to play.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I love about your orchestra is that when I listen to it on your records, which by the way, everybody go to alexmendham.com. You can support this fabulous person who's producing all this wonderful content for us. So when I listen to your records, I could just swear that they're originals from the 20s and 30s. I wouldn't know the difference. They're so rich and just true to the era. And I appreciate that so much, because that's the kind of music that resonates with me, that gets my heartbeat going. And then the other thing that I love is what you've just said about the band looking the part and living the part, because I often there's this thing about Laurie Gordon once told me this. She said that you got to do it from head to toe. So I remember one time we were at an Art Deco Society event, and Laurie Gordon, she's the one of the founders of the Art Deco Society of California, which is based up in San Francisco, Bay Area. And she said, "See that woman right there? Everything is perfect except she's wearing modern shoes." And at that time, they were modern shoes that were not reproductions; they were just modern shoes that didn't look like the rest of the era. And it was a real lesson to me of this look of how you do it with every single little detail.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking with your band, when I look at it, the illusion is not broken. Like a lot of times it'll be a great vintage sound, but the illusion is broken because they're wearing, their haircut isn't right, or their glasses.
Yeah.
So how do you get the guys and the gals to do the vintage hair and glasses?
Well, I've always, like you say, I mean, as a fantastic tap dancer and performer, that unless you might have the routine perfect, but unless you're in costume, ready to go on, it never quite feels right. So it's the same with the band. I've had guys come to the band and they say, "Well, why do I have to wear this tuxedo that smells of mothballs?" And I said, "Well, try it on and see how you feel." And they play differently, Rusty. They hold themselves in a different way because they're wearing a stiff-fronted shirt, and then they get into a role. So they're acting as well as playing. They're acting the part of, whoever they might be, this unknown musician from the 20s, 30s. And that's what people don't get. And so over time, people have really begun to understand where I'm coming from with that kind of thing. So I'm a music director, but I'm looking at the whole thing as if I'm, like a film director or something. They've got to look right.
Yes.
Because as you say, if the people, they're coming and they're paying for a ticket, they want to go into this immersive world, and they're not going to be doing that if one of the guys is wearing Converse sneakers. So that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And the dresses as well. We've got a wonderful dressmaker, and she'll watch films, and she will cut things on the bias, which is and she'll do what needs to be done, and it's a whole small industry within the orchestra. Everybody's got like their own role, and I to try and pull it all together at the right time.
Yeah. Producer, director, bookkeeper, etc. Yeah.
Yeah.
And before we continue, I wanted to let people know we would love to hear any questions that you have. So I think just submit them in the chat, and I don't know if it's on this side or this side, but you're gonna there or there. You can submit your questions to the chat, and then I'll see them, and we can ask Alex these questions. You know, Alex, I have a funny story about that. When I lived in England for 2 years, and I was as a dancer with Simon Selman and the Sugarfoot Stompers, and they taught me a Charleston dance, one of their routines, and I practiced it, and then they gave me the costume, and I put the costume on, and it was a total different dance. It was so amazing to me how I'd learned the choreography, but the minute I had the Charleston flapper dress on, it was like, oh my God, I'm actually now moving right. Like, this is it. Like, it all came together. So you've said it as a singer, a vocalist, and a musician, how it happens. And it's so true with dancing. And I think also that I just had this image of everybody in our group with their steamer trunks, going anyway. Their racks of clothes going in, so we're all but it's just so fun to how it just, as you say, it makes you carry yourself different, and it can't be so he said, here's a question. You want to do a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well, this is one that we were going to talk about. So Jeff would like to know about the Cicada Club engagement in Los Angeles.
Yeah. So Cicada Club is a wonderful venue in downtown Los Angeles, and it's run by a guy called Maxwell DeMille, and he programs some wonderful artists that specialize in this earlier vintage, period style of music. And he was a fan of the orchestra for some years, and then eventually he contacted me and asked me over, and we performed a great sellout show there a couple of years ago. And finally, now that things are starting to move in the world, he dropped me a line the other day and asked me if I'd want to do 2 dates in October of this year. So, of course, I said yes, and we're back there on I think, Rusty, have you got those 2 dates written down somewhere?
It's October 23rd and 24th. And if anybody lives in LA or close by wants to come in for it, get your ticket early, because those 2 dates will sell out. And
the first, I think, is already sold out, or if not, the Saturday is almost sold out now. Yeah.
I better get my ticket quick. Hey, it's just for people who've never been there. You can go to cicadaclub.com, and Cicada Club was a high-end men's clothing store from 1928. When you open the door and walk in, your jaw will drop to the floor. You will freeze and just stand there and stare. It is an Art Deco palace. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah,
and then with the backdrop of the Alex Mendham Orchestra. Yeah. And the music coming through, oh my gosh, sensational.
And again, people dress up there as well. They go all out. So the gents will wear black tie quite often, and ladies' evening gowns. It's one of the last places I think left in the world where you can go and hear a wonderful dance orchestra, apart from Queen Mary 2.
Yes, so excited about that. Dean asks if you have any plans to tour more in the United States next year, and maybe a trip to Canada someday, eh? He didn't put me in,
but I'll go anywhere that we're asked. As long as the people are there and we can get the logistics right, we'll go anywhere. Have band, we'll travel. Yeah.
Yes. Everybody, keep this in mind. Here, Alex is, and remember always to support these wonderful artists and creators like Alex by if you have a venue in your town, approach them about him playing there, and you can contact them and contact him, and together we can get a tour for the orchestra.
Yeah. I mean, we're in this year alone. I mean, I know things are still a bit precarious, but we're already in California, but we're going to France. We got something penciled in for Germany. So we do get around, and everything, like all the dates, we've got a whole list of dates right now on alexmendham.com. So check those out. And of course, I'd love to go to Canada.
Oh, maybe we could do, oh gosh, does anybody have any contacts with that beautiful train that goes across Canada? I mean, how would that be?
I'll play on the train.
Yeah. It goes across. I think it's a vintage style train that they have, that like a really beautiful. Tom, what do you think about that idea? Oh, Mandy says it's not as vintage as it used to be, but she'll look into it. Okay. Well, then the Orient Express.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
game for anything. Yeah. What else are you looking forward to about the crossing on the Queen Mary 2?
I'm looking for, I think, aside from playing new arrangements each night, I am looking forward to meeting the people that have, had faith in the orchestra enough and, believed in this vision, this event,
Yeah.
enough to come along. They're going to be like-minded people of all ages and backgrounds. And it's just going to be really nice to meet that community of people, really. Speak with them off stage, welcome them onto the dance floor with the orchestra. I'm looking forward to all of those things, and I'm looking forward to seeing those plans realised and shelved for 2 years. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing some great music, being in front of that band, conducting them, and keeping people happy.
Yeah, I just think that for us, all of us, to have this unique opportunity to get to be around you and your orchestra, your band, for that amount of time.
Yeah.
Usually, like I said before, you usually just get one dance a year or something here with you in California, but now we'll get all of these night after night after night. And then, and there's something I know that I love to dress vintage, and if I walk out my door in my town of El Segundo, it's nice, and people will compliment me, and they'll say, "Oh, you look so nice. I love that." But when you're with a group of people doing it, it is so much more fun.
Yes, yeah.
So
you can admire what other people are wearing. You can ask them where they found it, and you can beat them to that shop the next time you visit that town. All that kind of stuff, and yeah, I just think it's going to be a really nice bunch of people.
I know some people were disappointed that it kept getting, pushed and pushed and pushed. But for me, I think I have a friend who just passed away recently at age 99, Miriam Nelson, and she lived an amazing life and was always so upbeat and chipper. And I asked her, like, what is your secret? And she says, always have something to look forward to.
Yes. Yeah.
Always, she actually said, say yes to anything, because if you put that thing in your calendar, you'll always have something to look forward to. And so for me, had it not been pushed forward, it would have been over already.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so excited that I still have it to look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really,
Tom just said we can all do the grand descent, okay, down the split staircase into the main dining room every night.
Strike a pose. Yeah.
We can all drape ourselves across the banisters as we come down. You have to promise me, Alex, that I get to come down the grand descent one night on your arm.
Oh, of course, yeah. And we can choreograph something.
Between you and Peter Minton, that'll be the greatest thing to look forward to.
Yeah, it looked like a vintage floor show.
And I'll create a secret little choreography that we can do when we land or at the top. That'll be fun. Have you been practicing your tap dancing?
Yeah, I'm a regular now. I mean, I don't think the neighbors are very happy.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say? We're at about the half-hour point now. We can answer any questions again that people have, or is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Oh, I know there's something we haven't talked about yet, is that the parties before and after in London and New York. Yes.
Yeah. Well, will we see any on the ship? You may do. Yeah. Watch this space.
I have to say, Mandy just, she texted us privately. We'd love to hear more about Alex's tap dancing. Will we see any on the ship? Of course, Alex and I and Peter, we're going to do our big number.
Yeah. If it passes Rusty's approval, then it's going to get showing. Yeah.
I better start choreographing it.
So the Bon Voyage dance is going to take place the evening before we set sail, of course. The venue, again, I think the same thing is happening in London as it is in New York. We were at the Rainbow Room on arrival and in New York, and we were at the Lansdowne Club when we set sail. Both of those venues are having moments due to the pandemic, and I think staff moving around. So that still needs to be firmed up exactly where that's going to be. But wherever it's going to be opulent, extravagant, beautiful, and everyone's going to be there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's going to be so wonderful. Oh. So Bon Voyage party and in London, and then a dance in New York.
New York.
Oh, that's so great. Oh, Alex, I'm so looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too.
And then you're going to be here again, October 23rd, 24th in Los Angeles at the Cicada Club. And then the crossing is April 24th through May 1st, 2022.
Yeah, we've got a full diary. We're all over the place.
Oh my God. Well,
it's almost like everyone's had these things planned for a long time, and now it's like the box has been opened. People are booking things, last minute, and it's all a bit of a rush, but it's fun, and we're in the thick of it. But it's energizing. We needed it to pull ourselves out of the mire.
Yeah.
So we're good.
Whenever I'm in my house and feeling like I just need something to lift me up, I put on your records. I have your vinyl records, and I put them on.
Yeah, the 78. Yeah, they were good fun to make. We've got a new one coming out. This is a scoop, so hold on to your seats. But we've got a single-sided 78 coming out, which is a limited edition for guests on the Queen Mary, called Mary, Queen of the Seas, and it's going to be a picture record. So on the reverse is going to be a beautiful Art Deco picture of the Queen Mary, and on the other side is a recreation of a British dance band record from 1936. And they gave that. It'll basically be a new replica of what they gave to passengers on the maiden voyage of the first Queen Mary.
Oh my goodness! My goodness!
Yeah, so we're working on that now.
Oh, and then you also have a beautiful program that's.
Yes, yeah, that needs to be redated, but yeah.
I'd still love to get a souvenir copy of that.
Oh yeah, no, everyone's going to receive one at the Bon Voyage. Yeah, and again, that's another beautiful. I mean, these things, they're unique to our crossing, So, there's going to be other things going on the Queen Mary, but nobody's going to have these mementos. Really, there's been a lot of thought and care put into them, and I think people are going to really love them.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we want to tell everybody we have over 200 people, but we can accommodate up to 300. I say we. I'm just a guest on it, but the Ahoy Cruises, Vintage Cruises, there's still room for 100 more. So I'm looking for more dance partners. So all you Balboa and Charleston dancers and Foxtrot, come aboard. Yep. And I guess that's it. It looks like there's no more questions. So I'm going, bookings must be made. This is the important thing, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Don't go through the Queen Mary. You want to go through Ahoy Cruises to attend our event. So you can see right there, ahoyvintagecruises.com.
Yeah.
Tom just said save a foxtrot for him. Tom, of course, I'll save 2 foxtrots for you. Yeah. And we'll practice when you're here in California for the October date at the Cicada Club.
Yeah, Tom was telling me that in previous cruises that he's done, guests have heard about the event and been really eager to join, but because they haven't booked through Ahoy Cruises, they haven't been able to get through to the dances. So it is absolutely exclusive. They must book through Ahoy. Yeah.
So can you explain that again? So the dances on the crossing that you're playing at, they're just for our group?
Yeah, they're totally exclusive. You can't come in unless they're private events on the ship.
Can ruin our night by coming in jeans and a t-shirt, right?
Yeah.
In a baseball cap.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
We have exclusive use of the ballroom. Sigh. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, Tom and Mandy, is there anything else you'd like us to cover before we hand it back to you? Let's see if they have anything. Oh, it looks like she says, great interview. Well, the thing is, Alex and I love each other. We adore each other. We are kindred spirits. He and I have had long, as you would say, chin wags.
Yeah.
about the kind of the trials and tribulations of and the joys of trying to do this your specific thing. Mine as a dancer and a dance promoter and creator, and Alex's as a band leader. Our journeys are parallel, and we have had so many similar stories with and I have a new favorite quotation, and it's having regard being this kind of a person with unique interests like we have. And it was in a book I just read by D.E. Stevenson. It says, "It never matters. If strangers see you behaving like lunatics, it doesn't matter because they don't know who you are." And if your friends see you behaving like lunatics, it doesn't matter because they know who you are.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I mean, people know who I am, and yeah, and you.
We're going to have such a lovely time. So thank you, Alex, and thank you, Mandy, for pulling this together, and thank you, Tom. Tom needs a round of applause because he has had to rebook this crossing. I think this is the fourth time. So,
well done, Tom.
Yay, Tom. Okay, so I'm gonna throw it back to. I hate to say goodbye to Alex. It's just so fun. It's beautiful. Punham.
Thank you for your time, Rusty, and thank you for looking so wonderful. And I see you've even got your vintage luggage packed and ready to go.
Yes, and that's my grandmother's hat box when she used to do she did the crossing many times. Yes, first as an immigrant, and then as a tourist going back to France where she was from. So
beautiful.
Yeah, it's got her initials on it and everything. I'm sadly I'm not going to be able to bring my Eleanor Powell steamer trunk.
Save that for next.
Okay, so I think that's it. So we're going to show you the closing video, and there you go.
Bye, everyone. Yeah.
Bon voyage. Bon voyage.
I've got a feeling you're fooling. I've got a notion it's make-believe. I think you're laughing right up your sleeve, fooling with me. Life is worth living while you are giving moments of paradise. You're such a standout, but oh how you hand out that hocus pocus from your eyes. I've got a feeling you're fooling. I've got a feeling it's all a frame.